Good day to everyone and welcome to our event. Thanks a lot for the message on chat. It's really cool to see the vibe of our customers in this event. My name is Violeta. I'll be one of the hosts for this developer coaching session. Today we are joined by Juan Carlos, who is your speaker. We have the pleasure to have here Haris, who will assist you on Q&A. There is also my colleagues Tom and Ettore, and all of us are here to help you in case you need any further assistance or if you have any questions to address. Juan, would you like to say hello?
Hi everyone, and yeah, great to have you here.
Thank you. So today we discuss about the Oracle integration, cloud and AI services, and Juan has prepared some cool demo use cases and a little presentation that we will use at the start. An important note regarding the examples and the data presenting in the demos that you will see today. So please keep in mind that they are purely fictional and for showcasing purposes only. I think that was all on my end. Juan, over to you.
So, and thank you all for joining this session. So the idea today is to talk about how you can use Oracle integration, which is like a business automation platform that we have here in Oracle, to automate different workflows and different flows. And we can connect, we can automate, we can extend application systems, and obviously we can orchestrate AI services as well. So the idea is how we can combine both Oracle integration and AI services to enable this concept of agentic AI workflows. And especially today, I'm going to show how to enable and how to build a multi-cloud agentic AI workflow using different resources in different clouds. So we're going to see AWS, we're going to see Azure, and we're going to see Oracle resources and services working together for this, let's say, agentic AI workflow that I will show. So let's move on. Yeah, this is basically like safe harbor statements and all that. So the first thing here is AI-based business automation with Oracle integration. What does it mean? It means that every customer, if you are a partner or if you're a customer, you have different, let's say, steps or phases. You can be in a specific phase within your business automation journey, right? So the idea here is that first you could be in a phase where you just want to connect apps and data. In this case, maybe you want to enhance AI with enterprise data. That data can come from different cloud vendors, not only Oracle. You can have, I don't know, documents coming from an AWS S3 bucket that you want to, like extract, summarize, and you want to enable a RAG flow on top of them. Maybe you have a SQL table where you have, purchase orders or any kind of data, and you want to enable a text to SQL flow on top of it. So first is you might want to connect apps and data and bring that data, to the models that we provide, let's say here in Oracle AI. And we have different flavors. We have generative AI services that are more like past services, ready to use. We also have like, you can deploy your own open source model like Quant, like Mistral, within AI GPUs, right? That's AI infrastructure. Or even you can deploy really fast with AI quick actions in data science. Also, that's another way of, let's say, exposing those models. So the idea is that we can bring that data with Oracle integration. You can be in that phase. A second phase could be you want to automate processes and involving not only, let's say, data and apps, but also humans or workers to help. So in this case, I'm not saying this is going to eliminate data silos, this is going to reduce manual work. This is going to help to do that and to achieve these kind of milestones, right? And you can be, like also in this phase where you're already connecting apps and data, but you want to, add some kind of checks or human in the loop steps on your processes. And last but not least, let's say you can be in a phase where, okay, I'm already connecting apps and data, or even you can go straight away to the third phase, I call it, help innovate with AI. In this case, the idea is that Oracle integration can help to automate orchestration of AI services, AI-based decision making, and intelligent document processing, and obviously to help achieving some milestones like streamline processes, workforce augmentation, speed adaptability, and so on. So, having said that, what's the Oracle integration AI strategy? So, in this case, is bring Oracle integration to AI, so we can leverage those capabilities that we have in Oracle integration. I will speak about them for your AI innovations. And we're talking about, you could use OIC to do intelligent document processing and orchestrating OCR services. We can use Oracle integration to orchestrate AI services, either in different retrieval pipelines like text to SQL, or talk to your documents, or talk to your APIs, or talk to your apps. So we can, let's say, we use Oracle integration as an enabler for these retrieval pipelines. We can also use OIC for retrieval augmented generation flows as well, either as on the data loader side or on the query engine side, but especially on the data loader side where Oracle integration has a lot of added value there. And then we can, let's say, go beyond and use Oracle integration capabilities, especially the capabilities that we have in process automation within Oracle integration, where we have dynamic workflows, aka state machines. If you have heard about LangGraph and all of that, okay, that's nice, but we have our own state machine and, like a state machine workflow tool that is dynamic processes within Oracle Integration Cloud. And also we can have this kind of concept of a structured workflow. So you can have AI workflows where, I don't know, we extracted some data or we analyze some data with generative AI and combining different AI services. And then you want like a step in the middle, or a check where someone, a human, should review or should approve or reject what the agent or what the agentic AI workflow did, right? So in this case, we can enable these agentic AI workflows. We don't have to reinvent the wheel. I mean, in the end, LangGraph and all of that, I'm not saying that it's, let's say, fine if you are in a startup, if you are a small company that is more used to, hard code. But this approach is more like low code approach to enable this kind of agentic AI workflows. And one important thing is, if you use LangGraph and all that, that's fine. But that's basically something that is deployed open source, right? And deployed in a VM or in a Kubernetes engine or whatever. So my question for you would be, who is going to support you if the infrastructure of these LangGraph workflows and all of that breaks? The community is going to support you if you are a large company or as SMB company? No. And this is, let's say, one of the added values that we have here of using Oracle integration, is that these workflows and these workflow engines are managed by Oracle. So if something goes wrong with the orchestration, then Oracle is going to support you because, it's a Oracle managed service. But if LangGraph of some of these libraries and all that breaks, that's going to break your business and even your end-to-end agentic AI workflow. So that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying it's bad, but for something more enterprise grade, you should follow, or you could follow this approach. So what's the OCI solution? So basically, the building blocks of business automation, and especially with Oracle integration, is we have connectors, native connectors to different applications, to different vendors. Even we have this concept of multi-cloud connectors, where we have connectors to AWS S3, cloud storage from AWS. We have adapters for topics, SNS in AWS. We have, for instance, adapters for Azure SQL databases, Azure storage, Azure Service Bus, different kind of connectors. So we can connect and enable these flows, these orchestration flows, in a visual manner, in a no-code and low-code manner with Oracle integration. We also can automate workflows. I mentioned that we have the process capability within Oracle integration to enable these state machine workflows or structured or fixed workflows. I will talk about them. We recently included something called RPA, robotic process automation, also as part of Oracle integration. So you don't have to use an open source library or something like that, or something else. We have it within Oracle integration. Decision automation is something that we also have. Is more deterministic rules. These days, people and the market is more up to decisions taken by AI services, but then having human in the loop, let's say workflows where someone checks what the decision was before, I don't know, sending a response to a customer or whatever. And then conversational assistant is something that is not really in Oracle integration, but is perfectly integrated and is easily integrated with Oracle Digital Assistant, that is our conversational assistant. And we have our great AI team who are very, very knowledgeable on this and can help you with that. And then finally is generative AI services. So what I'm saying is, workflows and dynamic workflows, structured workflows, they have been for many years ago, since many years ago. And the only thing here is that with generative AI services and these AI services that are coming up, what we can do is just to enhance and embed those generative AI services within those workflows and make them make them smarter, right? So that's the idea, with Oracle integration as a business automation platform. So Oracle integration as an orchestrator for AI services. So Oracle integration can help to connect and orchestrate applications, data with AI services. So for this, we have, as I mentioned, different connectors to different, let's say, different kind of applications, ERP applications, CX systems, HCM applications. I mentioned multi-cloud connectors like GCP storage, GCP pops up, GCP cloud storage, etc. And even the typical, let's say, connectors like REST, SOAP, if your application expose APIs. If not, we can even pick up files that need to be extracted and then analyzed with generative AI services with FTP and file adapters. So the first thing is just to explain you really fast what Oracle integration, how orchestrating AI services with Oracle integration works. So basically here, let's take an example. So let's assume that your enterprise knowledge, let's say documents, audio files, video files, are coming from different channels: social media channels, web applications, content management systems, email, whatever. So the idea here is that you don't have to, complicated and hard coding some kind of library that is gonna be able to connect and having these kind of clients to these applications. Oracle integration can simplify that with the connectors. For some of those applications and systems, we are able to capture the data in near real time. And I say near real time because real time is something under milliseconds. And so every time something happens, let's say a user sends an email and it arrives into your email inbox in Gmail or Outlook, that's going to trigger an orchestration flow or a retrieval pipeline or a data loader pipeline, which is going to perform some kind of steps and it's going to apply some kind of AI services on this data. So one example is, for instance, you can receive the knowledge, you can extract the content for the enterprise knowledge that comes from these channels. Either it is PDFs or documents. We are extracting with document understanding. We can use document understanding raw text to extract the raw text from these documents or media. We can use vision for analyzing images and all of that. We can use speech for something more voice to text things, extraction. And even with 23 AI vector search, we have the capability even to extract data from PDFs and Word documents and others. And even we could go further, and I don't want to use, or you could not only use our own OCI AI services for this. You could use, I don't know, open source models like Quant, deployed in AI infrastructure in A10s, for instance, and then being able, to analyze images. That's an image to text model that you could use to analyze and extract relevant information from, I don't know, an ID card or a document or an image or whatever. Once you extract the content, we can also move with our integration to call another AI service that, for instance, could be AI language. That is our service for sentiment analysis on text, on top of text feeds, as key extraction entities, or name entity recognition, I would say. Models like pre-built models that you can use to extract metadata that could enhance your retrieval pipelines. Further retrieval pipelines, because in the end, all these techniques of prompting and chunking and all of that are really good when you not only, let's say, embed and generate vectors for the content, but also you associate those vectors or those kind of information with metadata that could be, very useful for retrieving purposes, let's say. And obviously, chunk and embedding and the content and the metadata, there are different ways. In Oracle integration, we could do it with a JavaScript library that you can import within Oracle integration, and then you can use that. Or you can use, again, other models like Cohere within OCI Generative AI, or even within 23 AI, we have also the capability of using vector chain functions to chunk and even embed the data. Okay. So how these workflows work? So the first example, and I have to say this because this is the foundation for the tools that an agent is going to call. So the agent is basically receiving a query, and depending on the different tools it has available, it will call the most proper or the most accurate tool to answer that question, or multiple tools if it needs. So this is the foundation of a retrieval pipeline or orchestrating AI services in Oracle integration. So the example that I will show is a CV evaluation app, where we're gonna put some hard criteria, soft criteria, and HR analyst is going to put that for a new job requisition or a new job vacancy. And then the HR analyst can, let's say, put the criteria, the filters of the evaluation or decision logic for filtering candidates in natural language directly in a UI. And then we will upload the documents, and we will see how Oracle integration takes those documents and pass them through OCI document understanding to extract the raw text of those documents. And then we use generative AI to parse those documents and put them in a way that we can compare apples with apples, languages with languages, even if the text in the CV is random or is in a different format or whatever, disparate formats, we can, and I mean, everyone can have his own or her own format. So that's the idea of this first demo, just to show how Oracle integration can orchestrate AI services. And again, this is the foundation for what I'm going to show later, that is the Agentic AI Workflow. So for this, let me just share. Can you see Oracle integration? Yeah, right.
Yes.
Yes. Thank you. So so the first app is this one. So again, the UI for this application is deployed and built using Visual Builder. That is one of the modules within Oracle Integration Cloud. Now there's other flavors of UIs. Maybe you might want to use Oracle Integration just to load document data or load your data that is going to be analyzed in the data loader flow. But then your query engine or your retrieval pipeline, you want to use a UI like Apex on top of a database or Oracle database as your interface for your agentic app or whatever. Or even you could use a Streamlight if you are more used to it. But this is more like a low-code approach for building this kind of UIs for either LLM apps or even agentic apps. So in this case, we have the hard criteria, the soft criteria, the evaluation matrix that the HR analyst can edit in natural language. And then the evaluation examples, that is like just examples of how the company has filtered candidates before, depending on certain and different scenarios where none of the hard criteria matched, or only one of the hard criteria matched, or even all the hard criteria and soft criteria match. So in this way, you are going to enhance and help to improve the way you can filter, in this case, documents, CVs, but this could be, extended for RFPs, for other kind of documents that you might have. So let's see it in action. So in this case, I'm gonna, let's say, I have just for you to understand what we are doing. So we have kind of different documents here. I'm gonna show them. So we have, this is just, fake and fictional CVs that I made up. So we have different candidates that have, like different education, experience, knowledge, whatever. In this case, what I'm gonna do is just to filter the candidates, because I'm looking for a job where the candidate or the candidates need to speak French. They need to live in Canada, and the skills they should know about Java, and the work experience should be greater than 4 years. And here I just have the evaluation metrics. So if none of the hard criteria, not the location, not the languages, match between the job criteria and the candidate data, then the candidate is not no fit. If only one of the hard criteria matches between the job criteria and candidate data, the candidate is a no fit. And if all the hard criterions of criteria match between job criteria and candidate data, then the candidate is a good fit. Obviously, the HR analyst could change this at his or her will, but in this case, we're gonna leave it like that. And now, what I'm going to do is just to upload the documents. And then what is going to happen is when I click on evaluate, a retrieval or a orchestration workflow or flow in our orchestration is going to be triggered, which is going to do, all the extraction, pass it through generative AI to format it, and then to pass it to another model to evaluate the candidate. So this is what I'm gonna do. So while this is happening, and we're just showing, how the candidate evaluation is going on. So Alex Yang is no fit. What is happening behind scenes? What is happening behind scenes is this. So you could see here the CV evaluator. And this is just like getting the attachment or the CV passing through document understanding, that is our OCR, where we are using text extraction to extract the raw text of the candidate. Then it's basically, like passing it through a first LLM model, where we are gonna extract and format the data that we have, like the unstructured data that we have in a CV, and format it in a way that we can compare. It can extract the hard criteria, the languages, the skills, everything. And then another step where we're gonna take the output of this formatted, let's say, CV, and then try to evaluate according to the decision logic and all of that the HR analyst defined in the UI, right? So every, let's say, box that you see here is basically a connector to different AI services. Here we are calling generative AI service. The way we call generative AI service is basically like this. We can invoke it locally, as an OCI service invocation. So that guarantees that all this data doesn't leave the Oracle backbone or the private network or the Oracle network. It doesn't traverse the internet, let's say. So that's the way we connect. And that's the way we connect with everything that you see, And so the CV evaluator workflow, the CV evaluator CV. Yeah. So the flow basically, again, we call an API for document understanding using the same approach. We call generative AI. We call generative AI again. Here I'm calling Cohere R Plus deploying on OCI generative AI. Here I'm calling Meta Llama 3.17 for the evaluation. Why? Because in my, let's say, tests and all that, I have found that Cohere is really good parsing, and parsing unstructured to structured data, and then evaluating or reasoning Meta Llama 3.1 and even greater models. I'm saying 3.1 because that's the one we can use here in Europe. But if you are in US, you can use 3.2 and 3.3. So let's go back to the application. So for the purpose of the demo, these let's say workflows are being called sequentially speaking, but we can parallelize when we combine Oracle integration with the streaming, that is our Oracle Managed Kafka service, to parallelize the processing, in this case, of the evaluation of each of the candidates, so it can speed up the thing. So in this case, if you see, and let's go back to, so Emily Patel, for instance, is the one that was, let's say, good fit because she lives in Canada. She has more than 4 years of experience. She has Java as an ability in her CV, and she speaks French. Is one of the languages she speaks. So in that case, let's see what the retrieval engine, retrieval pipeline came up. So this is the summary, obviously using summarization capabilities of Cohere. So it highlights like what is in her CV, the different abilities, the proficiency, etc. But then the most important thing is the justification. So it says both location required and languages required are met since the candidate's location is Canada and speaks French. And both skills required and total work experience required are met since the candidate has Java as a skill and has 5 years of total experience. That was the reasoning why, like the suggestion of the retrieval pipeline for choosing Emily Patel as a good fit for this. Let's look at David Andrew, for instance. It says the candidate's location doesn't match the location required for the job, even though the candidate speaks French, which matches the language required for the job. And the candidate has Java as a skill and more than 4 years of total experience, which match the skills required and total work experience required for the job. If we see David Andrew, he lives in Romania, and that's, one of the, let's say, reasons why the generative AI model or the retrieval pipeline decides that he's not fit for it. And we could explore more on this, but that's basically what orchestrating AI services is. So in this case, the orchestration flow is Oracle integration, is a managed infrastructure for these kind of orchestration flows. You don't need, if something breaks on the orchestration infrastructure, Oracle is going to support you. If you use other kind of library, I would say, who's going to support you if something breaks? If the workflow of the orchestration engine as a hard code, let's say library or whatever, breaks. That's another question for you guys. So let's move on. Let's go back to the presentation. You can find these, the GitHub and the assets for this evaluation app in the AI Solution Hub in Oracle at oracle.com. And there you will have, you can find or search for document evaluation app, and you will find also a link that will get you through the GitHub technology engineering from EMEA repository, where we have a lot of really good things and good use cases around AI and integration in this case. So moving forward, so how we could use or how retrieval pipelines with Oracle integration work. So let's say that, okay, I can orchestrate AI services, but now what happens if I want to, let's say, talk to my documents, or I want to ask questions in natural language to my relational database where I have, I don't know, all my orders or whatever. Or even go further is, no, I want to talk to my CX system, or I want to talk to my HR system, or even I want to talk to my ERP system in natural language. But I know that those systems either expose an API or we have a connector in our integration for it. So we can have these, let's say, three, even I could be missing more, but you can have this kind of, kind of retrieval pipelines like NLP to SQL. For this, we already have Select AI embedded within Autonomous 23 AI, where in this case, our integration just call a function that will make the work for you, like the pipeline, let's say. So in this case, it's just Oracle integration receiving the query, and then with the connector that we have to different databases, or Oracle database, Oracle Autonomous, we perform a Select AI where it takes the query and then it returns an answer. Or we could use semantic search. Obviously, we have semantic search in 23 AI. Or even you can have these kind of pipelines where you get the query and then you try to, let's say, call the system that could filter, I don't know, the purchase order that I'm looking for, or the order, specific order that I'm looking for. So that's NLP to API. So anyway, this retrieval pipeline can be done through Oracle integration, and again, is an orchestration as well. Now, why it helps for RAG, especially on the data loader side. So that knowledge can come either from S3 bucket, from a Google Cloud Storage, from a content management system, whatever. So orchestration here mostly could be used for the data loader flow for a RAG solution. And then from that point onwards, you could use either even our OCI Gen AI agent service that it already has, like all the things around retrieval and tools and all that. That's fine. You could use, I don't know, another model that is very good with RAG workflows or whatever. But in this case, you can even implement your own custom RAG flow. And I'm saying custom RAG because if you want to be able to, I don't know, add this kind of, like query rewriter steps, window context steps, and tools that enhance the accuracy of our RAG flow, then you can have those flows or those steps simply having multiple child integrations within a parent integration that is gonna decide which of the steps is the best to enhance that RAG flow. So I'm not gonna, let's say, deep dive on this. You can see that demo and these examples of how orchestration can be used for a knowledge search engine that's deployed and published in the AI Solution Hub. But just to say is the importance of this. So I'm 80% sure that probably all your systems are not on a unique vendor. Probably you have Oracle database in Oracle. You have your cloud storage in S3 or in Azure. And maybe your systems or your applications that you want to, embed them in an Agentic AI workflow. Probably they are deployed in, I don't know, even in a third-party vendor as well, in Azure or in Google or whatever, or even on-prem, right? So, what's the importance of or how our integration is important is very important for RAG in this case, is because who guarantees you that the APIs that an agent is gonna use, like tools, are private? Sorry, they are assuming, and all those libraries, LangChain, and all of that, they assume that those APIs are public. So the point is that probably most of these applications are not public and do not expose APIs publicly. So how we can embed and ensure that the end-to-end agentic workflows or RAG pipelines are end-to-end secure. So this is where the multi-cloud connectors from Oracle integration comes in, and especially with a key enabler that is called the connectivity agent. So the connectivity agent is basically like the representation of Oracle integration in your private subnet. That means that if you are trying to connect to a private Azure SQL database, to a private Azure storage, to a private Google Cloud storage, we can, let's say, put this agent that basically what it does is like, it doesn't allow inbound traffic, it just allows outbound traffic. It's just saying every time, Oracle integration, can you perform something here? And what we do is in all our connectors, if we are calling a REST API, if we are calling an Azure SQL database, the connector is associated with that agent thing that is called agent group, is the logical representation of the physical agent in Oracle integration. And that's the way we can maintain end-to-end private connectivity for your RAG pipelines or even for your agentic workflows. And we have different kind of, multi-cloud subcases where we push from OCI and then we send it to Azure storage, or where your documents, are event-driven. So someone uploaded a document in an S3 bucket, and then that trigger an integration, a RAG pipeline that then executed, right? So this is key enabler. You can find also this demo. Actually, this demo is published in my LinkedIn profile, so you can go there and find me as Juan Carlos González Carrero, and you can find. In the meantime, I'm documenting this solution. The contract management solution is really good. It's something that we are actually reusing a lot with our Dear AI team for different customers. And it shows how the possibilities, for embedding RAG pipelines to do, let's say, generating or helping to generate contracts from scratch, not from scratch, but based on your existing knowledge, using Oracle integration and combining these with other services to enable this kind of RAG pipelines. Very easy. So now, the most important thing is how Oracle integration can enable agentic AI workflows. So again, we can have these retrieval pipelines. They can be either embedded in an autonomous database. It can be even supported by our own RAG agent, that is OCI, generative AI, OCI RAG. But the point here is that if you see other implementations like LangGraph or even Llama Index workflows, what they are basically doing is an state machine workflow in code that is basically depending on the step the agent is executed, then it analyzes the output of each step and then decides which is the next, let's say, a step to perform. I mean, in the end, I'm not saying, yeah, you want to go that way, that's fine. It's very respectable. But I mean, state machine tools have been in the market for many years. And here in Oracle integration, we have our own, let's say, dynamic process tool, or let's say dynamic or state machine workflow tool that is process automation. It's called process within Oracle integration, and we have this concept of dynamic workflows. So the point here is that a user is gonna query or send a question. Oracle integration is gonna receive the query, is gonna send it to an agent orchestrator that is basically a model that is gonna analyze. In this case, I'm using a React prompt or a React agent, where it analyzes that based on the query and based on the tools available for it, which is the tool that it should retrieve. That tool could be our OCI GenAI RAG agent. It could be a text to SQL or select AI chain in Oracle Autonomous Database, or even it could be like the answer should come from Salesforce or I don't know, a web application or in-house application that you have deployed in Azure or in AWS. So the point here is, okay, with LangChain, someone could say, okay, how do you call that if this is in a private subnet? You could say, no, you can establish a VPN for each of the APIs or private APIs or private apps that you have in other systems. But I mean, are you going to manage and maintain 2, 3, 10 VPNs to guarantee, that LangChain can access that privately? No. That's the value of Oracle Integration Connectivity Agent, that we just place that connectivity agent in your own private subnet, and then we just use the same low-code approach to connect to those apps. So that's the way we can guarantee that these agentic workflows are secure and private end-to-end. Okay, so that's basically the way it works. I'm going to show in the demo really fast how it works, but again, you define the steps that the agentic workflow is going to have, and then we can monitor what the agent is doing. So let's see it in action. So let me just do something here. Let me just change of application. And this is the Agentic AI application. So this is basically an application where it's connected through to a WebSocket, because the flow of information between the user and the agent is going to be asynchronous. So in this case, we can combine Oracle Integration Visual Builder with WebSockets. It's a WebSocket that I have in Node.js here in a Kubernetes engine. And then that's the way we can, I'm going to show the demo. So the first thing is I have a S3 bucket where I have different contract documents here, right? And also I have a purchase order table here in Azure. I have an Azure database where I have a table of purchase orders. Okay, so the idea is that this agent is gonna be able to respond to either generic questions about the documents or specific questions about a clause within that contract, or even if someone asks for the status of an order, it should pick the Azure tool, or even if someone asks something that is not related to this, the agent should respond that the answer is not found or it cannot answer. So let's see how this works. So here I'm basically connecting to the WebSocket, and now what I'm gonna do is just to ask a question. So let's assume that someone is looking for metal structure contracts. Okay. And in this case, you will see that these two are related with metal structures. This one is for fashion, okay, for the purpose of the demo. So what is happening is that at the right side, you can see what the agent is doing, or the thoughts of every step the agent is performing. I will show you what the steps are in the dynamic workflow, but this is a way where the end user can see what's happening behind scenes. So in this case, it says that it found 3 documents in the knowledge base, but only 2 were relevant. If you were able to see the information here, and then it gives the answer, right? What is happening behind scenes is that what is being executed is a workflow. And a workflow, a dynamic workflow in Oracle integration is basically something like this. You define the different steps. You define an agent service, that is the agent orchestrator, that is the one that is going to receive the input. It's going to pass it through an LLM with a React prompt, and then it will choose which tool should be called. Then we have a retrieval service, that is basically the step that depending on the tool, this step comes with, it will call the proper tool here. We have a query rewrite service step, because let's assume that the answer was not found. So the agent is going to try to rewrite the query to try to get a more proper answer. And then is the generation service, that is basically a prompt where it generates the answer, and then the reply to the human. So what you saw for this question, if you see, is this was the agent doing the orchestration thing, the retrieval step, the answer generation, then coming back to the agent orchestrator again, and then reply to the human. You can see what's happening in every step. This is the cool thing of dynamic workflows here, because this was the first input. Then this was the input for the agent orchestrator, and this was basically the response, like I have to call the summary tool. And then this was the retriever step, where we sent which tool, and then we perform all the chunks, all the documents related with it. This is a summary index. So it called a summary tool where I have basically 23 autonomous 23 AI doing semantic search on a summary table of contracts. And then I have another that is the vector tool that is doing semantic search on top of a contract clauses vector store. Okay, that's more specific. And so this is the way we can monitor what the agent, or for someone who is more on the operation side, how to monitor and control what's happening with the agent. And if you see, any of these steps can happen at any time. That's what a state machine means, that any step of a workflow can be triggered depending on the event. So for instance, the query rewrite happened because the output from the orchestration engine was you have to query. You have to rewrite the query because I cannot generate an answer because it's not good. So that's the way, let's say, you can enhance different workflows and all that. So let's go back and ask something more interesting, like extract the price and payment clause from Copper Master contract. The Copper Master contract, let me just show you that. It's basically this one where you have, like different clauses. It should retrieve this one, right? Specifically that. So if you see, it says the current language, I have to use the vector tool. I found 3 records. Only 2 records were the most relevant to the question. So imagine if you don't provide this kind of agent thoughts experience to the customer. He or she doesn't know what is happening behind scenes. So that's the idea with this agent thought thing. So if you see, the price and payment clause from Copper Master a contract is as follows: the total price for the Copper structures. And so if you see exactly that clause, it extracted that clause exactly. Imagine if you have more thousands of contracts and all that. That's the speed and the escalation you want to get, right? Now, what happened if I want to ask questions about my purchase orders here? So the agent should be able to choose that too, right? So let's assume that I want to know what happened with this order. This order was canceled, 164,974. So what I'm going to do is to ask what happened with order 164,974. So it says I should call the order tool with this order ID. I found one relevant record from to answer the question. I can answer without using any more tools. I will use the language, the user's language. Order 164,972 was canceled effectively. And let's talk about, tell me about order 164,975. So again, what is happening, if you want to see it in real time, is this. Agent orchestrator, retrieval, it rewrite the query because for some reason it doesn't like what it is, and then it went back to the orchestrator again, and it reply with order 164,975 is currently open, was created on January 29, 2025, and has a total amount of 80,942. These orders actually are coming from an ERP system. So every time something happens in the ERP, we are updating that database in real time, so the agent has the most up-to-date data there. So that's the power of having org integration in the middle in this case. And even if we try to ask a question like this, what is Oracle Integration Cloud? It tried to use the summary tool, let's say. I found 3 relevant records, but 0 records were the most relevant to the question. So it should reply something like, exactly, the provided tools do not contain any information. So if you see, is while the user is waiting, we can see what is happening in every step. And then that's from the end user experience. From the operational point of view, we can see what is happening in each step of the step. right? So that's cool. So basically, the way you can see all those workflows here is compressed in something called Oracle integration projects. So here I have my connection to Oracle ERP Cloud, my connection to Azure SQLDB. If you see, the connection to SQLDB is using an agent. And why an agent? Because effectively, this Azure VM that I have here, if you see, the server, if we go to networking, the public access is disabled. So what we did was basically to put a VM within the same private subnet where this Azure SQL database is, and then installing the agent that is basically something like this, like a jar that you put within that. So that way we can maintain a secure, let's say, end-to-end process. You would say how the agent connects to Oracle integration, because that will go through public internet. No, because there you can leverage either express route from Azure side and fast connect from our side, or the multi-cloud interconnect Azure service that we have between the two clouds. So that will or even a VPN if you want. But that will maintain the connectivity private. But even if you don't want to use Fast Connect, or anyway, no one can access your database. It's the agent, the one that is basically trying to pull, like, every millisecond orchestration. Do you have a new request, new request, new request? Yeah, I'm going to perform it here. So that's the way we can enable multi-cloud hybrid agentic AI workflows in an easy way, in a secure way, and with a platform that is managed by Oracle, not managed by you. Okay, so that's really important. So let's move on. That was basically the model show, but I want to show the architecture. So you see, every time a user uploads, I didn't show that. My bad. Let me show that to you, how the data loader works. So imagine if I try to ask a question about, like, I don't know, looking for computer contracts. Okay. Obviously, in my S3 bucket, I don't have any contract related to computer supplies or something like that. This is fashion and these two are metal, right? So it will say set records were the most relevant to the question. I can answer the question. The search results do not contain any computer contracts. Oh, okay, fine. But what happens if in the middle, imagine this is happening in parallel. So if in real time someone is uploading a new contract document, I'm gonna upload a PC solution contract and I'm gonna upload it. What is gonna happen here, just to explain, is this is gonna trigger an integration that receives an event from a SNS topic and extract the data from that document, and then does all the, like embedding, chunking, and all of that through Oracle Autonomous Database. So what's happening here, if we see what is happening in my project in Oracle Integration, look what is happening. So this is the data loader flow. So PC solutions come in. It's a Word document. So we are adding that document to OCI vector search within ATP. And then ATP is gonna do the chunk, embed, everything, because we have functions within, and the adapter that we have in our architecture can do that as well. And so if I try to search again for, or try to type the same question again, this is how updating and having up-to-date agentic AI workflows means. So it should call summary tool. It says, I found 3 relevant records. Only 1 were the most relevant to the question. And there we go. The answer is the computer contract is between TechCorp and PC Solutions, where PC Solutions agrees to design, manufacture, and deliver computer systems and peripherals as per the specifications outlined in Exhibit A. And if we see, that contract or that clause is more or less, and PC Solutions possess the capability to price such systems and peripherals, both parties. This is the contract, basically. This is a fake contract, by the way, and again, fictional. And even if we go further, this is the let's say the architecture for this multi-cloud agentic workflow. So we have the data loader, where you can have documents in AWS S3, in a content management system, whatever. We capture that. In this case, the point is, whenever someone uploads a document in S3, that generates an event with the metadata of the file, and it sends it to AWS SNS. That happens within AWS. But then we have a SNS connector, actually, here in the interface. If you see this one, this was a trigger using an AWS SNS trigger. So I'm capturing real-time events from an SNS topic, in this case, events for object created or object put, actually it's called object created put action on S3. And that's the way we are, let's say, capturing that in real time. And then we just, use the built-in capabilities, as I said before, that 23AI is able to summarize, extract, chunk, and embed with a function, and with vector chain tools directly here. So Oracle integration is not doing that pipeline. We are reusing this pipeline here, and then storing that in the summary and the vector databases, like the contract generic vector store and the clauses vector store. And then we have the contract retrieval agent, that is basically the agentic workflow that is triggered with an API. Actually, the way we trigger a workflow here, when someone asks, we have an integration that is called REST trigger AI agent. And that integration, I'm calling it from Visual Builder. So for the purpose of the demo, I'm putting the prompt within the UI. That's not the best practice. It should be in a lookup. We have lookups where we can, in our integration, where we can put prompts, like all the, if you see here, for instance, for grading the answers, we have the models, everything parameterized in a lookup that is basically to maintain parameters like the temperature of the model. Even we could put, if you see the prompt here directly. So if something happens, and this happens a lot, I have seen that when companies and partners are using like LangChain and all of that, is like when something changes in a library or something, even the model, then everything breaks. But for us, it's just a matter, and you have to do a lot of changes in all that Frankenstein of libraries. But here, you just have to change, like what's the model, let's say for the retrieval, or what's the model for extraction, what's the model for the query rewriter parameter. All of that was in a tensor in AI GPU VM, or even to tool retrieval, we're using MetaLlama 3.1. So if for some reason this changes or whatever, you just have to change that model, and then let's say the way you can build these agent workflows is modular. So you just have to change that, and then the rest is just a wrapper and all of that. And so that's basically the way we can store all that. And coming back to the application, again, this could be OCI Rack Agent if you want. It could be, I don't know, like different services, Azure services, Google Cloud AI services, whatever. But in the end, the state machine or the dynamic workflow or the workflow engine for these agentic AI workflows is going to be Oracle Integration Process Automation. And obviously, as I said again, this is an infrastructure of orchestration and workflows managed by Oracle. You just have to create your own workflows. That's very different from maintaining the infrastructure for a library that simulates what a workflow state machine is. That's my sincere opinion. You can have another one, but let's say that this is the added value of having an orchestration and workflow platform, an infrastructure that is managed by Oracle. Okay? And having said that, I think I'm finished. I think it was 12 minutes after. But thank you very much for staying and for joining. And back to you.
Okay, so I would like to invite Ettore to say a few things about the Cloud World Tour. Ettore, over to you.
Yeah, thank you, and kudos to Juan Carlos and Harris. So lovely demo, guys. So very extremely, let's say, omnicomprehensive. I really like all the stuff and the multi-cloud approach, integration, AI. So beautiful. And the feedback that are coming in chat are great. If you want to get something similar, so to be in touch with guys like Juan Carlos in person, I encourage you to check the the Cloud World Tour. Sorry, the Dev Tour will come misleading, but it's the Cloud World Tour coming in cities close to you. I shared in chat the link. There is the QR code. The next one will be in Mumbai, the 6th of February. So if you are in that area, check the possibility to be there. There are a very, very good panel of keynote speakers there. And of course, in Europe, Middle East, and Africa, we have the next one is Madrid, but I'm waiting for you in Milan and London as well. Okay, so check this. And then, Valletta, if we go ahead, always connected with the content and way we are presenting this content to you, I encourage you also to visit the AI Solution Hub, where you can find the content that Juan Carlos and other guys, engineers, advocates in Oracle are implementing and sharing with you, where you can get real world scenarios use case with GitHub repo, live labs connection, so you can get the benefit to implement by your own. So at the beginning, Valletta mentioned the free tier. So please use the free tier credits that we are giving to you. Find one of the use case that for you is interesting and start to deploy it. Okay, I shared all the links in chat, and see you soon. Thank you, Valletta. Thank you, Juan Carlos and Harris.
Thank you. All right, so moving on the next slide, you can see here a lot of links with the documentation available regarding OCI services, either trainings or some other videos, and a link taking you through the Oracle University certification page. That is if you are interested in getting certified on OCI. And here is another one with a lot of other materials and videos in shorts that our team has built to help you to learn about our services. And I think with that, we would like to say thank you for joining us today. Thank you, Juan and Harris, for your time and for your great work.
You guys.
We hope to have you back soon, and that we know that Harris will be back soon in March. So yeah, enjoy the rest of the afternoon and take care. Bye bye.
Cheers.